everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to learn how to knit these socks, and I call them cloud socks because they're very fluffy, they're very soft and very warm. I've made them with leftover yarn and a mohair. So I have here like loads of different leftover yarn, so I've knitted quite a few projects using fingering weight. I have this one from a tee that I from a t-shirt that I knitted. I've got these ones from my Vitrali shawl. This one is from my Vara tee. Yeah, I've got lots of different like little bowls like this, and I didn't want to get rid of them, and I just decided to knit socks with them. Now they don't use much yarn, so these two I made them from maybe a bowl this big, so about maybe 35 grams, and also a bit of mohair. I had some mohair left from my Favo sweater. This is the one I used. I have this one as well. I don't remember why I bought this one or what I did with it or did not do with it, because it looks like a lot of mohair here. So you will need some like leftover fingering weight yarn, some mohair and some needles. And I have here my ChiaoGoo 2mm needles. I did knit these ones in the 2mm needles. Now if you're a really tight knitter, then maybe you want to go up a needle size or half a needle size. But I'm quite a loose knitter, and I've knitted these ones in 2mm with one strand of fingering weight and one strand of mohair, and they're, as you can see, they're not that tight gauge. You have gauge in the pattern, but I'm just going to demonstrate the techniques I used, and also the German short rows that I use for the heel and the toe decreases. So let's put those there like that, and get your fingering weight yarn, if I can find the end for it. No. Oh well. So you just combine them together like that. Okay. And we're going to do a slip knot. So I have my tail here, my working yarn here. I'm going to twist my yarn, reach through and make a loop. And then I usually cast on 2 needles to make my first round easier. I'm going to pull on the tail to secure my slip knot on my needles, and that's my first stitch. So I'm going to do the long tail cast on, wrap my yarn around the working yarn like this, put my thumb under the tail and grab the yarn and pull through. In, grab the yarn, pull through. In, grab the yarn, pull through. In, grab the yarn, pull through. So I'm going to continue doing my cast on, and you do the same. Cast on the number of stitches that you need for your size, and I will see you when we're ready to work the first round. Once you have all your stitches on the needle, you want to pull out one of them and move your stitches on the cord. This is how I usually do it. Then kind of fold your cast on in half, and then spread the stitches a little bit to pull on your cord, holding them so they don't get twisted. You want to align your needles like this, and I like to align both of them to check that my cast on is not twisted. So you look around. It's very hard to see because of the mohair, but you look around and you want to have diagonal lines all around. if you look inside your work, you will have pearl bumps. So you want those pearl bumps facing each other like this. All right. And then what you want to do is pull the back needle out, keeping your yarn at the back. You start knitting a 2x2 rib. So gonna knit 2, and you want to pull on that first stitch to close in the gap between the beginning and the end of the cast on. So knit 2, yarn in front to purl 2. Oops. See, even if I've done my cast on 2 needles, it's still quite tight because I'm using really small yarn. Knit 2, purl 2, knit 2. It's very hard to see, I'm assuming, but if you don't know how to knit and purl, then I have videos. I've just released them because I'm doing a Learn to Knit series on my channel, so go and have a look there. Okay. My work is already starting to form. So you want to do knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2 for a few rounds, and then we'll be ready to do the heel. So I've done here about 5 centimeters of knit 2, purl 2, and you want to do the same, and then we're going to move on to the heel. I have knitted a few more rounds to create the little cuff because these are short socks, and now we're ready to knit the heel. Okay, so we're going to pull on the back needle and leave these back stitches there because we're not going to knit with them. We're just going to knit flat. Just make sure that you're going to knit on half of your stitches. Yeah, so count your stitches to make sure that you have half of your stitches on this front needle. And now we're just going to knit in the flat. Well, we knit rows and purl rows. And the first row, it will be knit all stitches. Oops. Okay. Now we're not going to move on to the back stitches like I said. We're going to flip the work and we're going to work a purl row. But first, on this first stitch, we're going to do a German short row. So yarn at the front, I'm going to go in as if to purl, pull that stitch off the needle, and then, oops, and then pull on that yarn until it creates this like double stitch on. Bring my yarn in the front and I'm going to purl all the way to the end. So I'm getting to the last stitch and I'm going to purl that last stitch and I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to bring the yarn in the front, put my needle in as if to purl, even though we're on the right side, take that stitch off and pull on it to make it like it looks a little bit different than on the purl side, but you can still see your stitch here, and then this like little wrap on top of it. And then I'm going to knit. Okay, so one more stitch, and I'm going to stop there because this is the German shawl row stitch that I've just done. I'm going to turn my work, and with the yarn in the front I'm going to go in as if to purl, and again pull on that yarn to create this kind of double stitch. And I'm going to do the same thing over and over until I have the right number of stitches on both sides, the wrapped stitches. I'm not going to go to the last one because that's the one that I wrapped before. I'm going to bring my yarn forward in the first stitch as if to purl and pull on it to create that double stitch, and do the same thing again and again until you get to the right to the stitch that is not, to the last stitch that is not wrapped. And we'll continue going back and forth like that until we're ready to turn the work, kind of like pick up those wraps in the German short rows. And I'll see you when I get there. I have finished the wrap stitches on both sides, and I have the same amount, and now I'm on the right side of the work, and what I want to do is knit to the first wrapped stitch. So I'm just going to knit to the first wrap stitch, and you'll know which one it is because it will look like this. And you want to go and knit it so it kind of like looks like a double stitch. So you're going to knit that double stitch and then knit the second double stitch. Okay, then we're going to turn our work and do another wrap on that one, or another German short row on it. So I'm going to go in from right to left with the yarn in the front, pick it and then pull on it, and it will make it look like it's like 4 stitches in one or so. It's like a double German short row, but leave it there like that, it's fine. Then you want to purl to the first one you find here. Okay, so I found the first like funny looking stitch, and I'm gonna purl it and then go to the next one and purl that one as well. and then I'm going to turn my work. Keeping my yarn in the front, I'm going to go in as if to purl, pull on that stitch, and it will feel like it's got a knot in it. Don't worry, once we finish with all of them, it will look nice and smooth. So now I'm going to knit again to the first stitch that I find that is double. So here it is. I'm going to knit it. Just make sure you go through all the strands. Go to the next one, knit that one as well, and turn your work and repeat. With yarn in the front, slip that stitch as if to purl and pull on it. Then purl again to the first stitch, purl purl that first stitch, purl that first stitch, turn your work, GSR. Continue doing that. So I'm going to quickly do those until I get to the last one, and I'll see you when I get there. So I'm at the last German throw row, so I'm going to do that technique on this last stitch. So pull it and then purl all the way to the end, well, to the double stitches. So here I've got 2 double stitches left. I'm going to purl 2 together, purl 2 together, like this. Now I'm going to do the last German throw row here on the right side. There we go. I'm going to knit to the end, and then we're going to start knitting the foot. This is not a beginner's video. If you want to learn how to knit and purl, then I have demonstration videos for those on Learn How to Knit playlist. So if you want to know how to knit and purl, then go there first. Alright, the last German throw row, I'm going to knit it. And now I'm going to continue work. I'm going to join back to knit in the round. Okay, so if you have a big gap here, then you could lift that stitch or like that loop in between and put it on the left needle and knit it with the first stitch, and that will help close in that gap. So knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, I just want to get to the beginning of the round to show you what we do there. purl 2. And now I'm at the beginning of the round, and we're going to do the same. If you have a gap here, I don't have a big gap here, so I'm not going to do anything about it, but this is our double stitch from the previous round, and we're just going to knit that, no problem. Knit it and pull on the yarn, knit the second one, and then work in the ribbing, because we're going to start working in the ribbing from now on. Okay, so you're going to continue working the foot of the sock for as long as you need it to. So just try the sock on and see how much you need to until you have about 5 centimeters short for the toe, and we're going to do the toe shaping next. The toe shaping, we do it with knit two together and SSK, which is slip slip knit. So we're going to decrease every other round, and it will make this tapered toe. And as you can see, there's no seam at the top here. We're going to do the Kitchener stitch for that. And I have here a different color. I love it. The same, more leftover yarn. I've done the heel in a yellow because I didn't have too much of this. I've got enough for my other sock. So I use this as the background color mixed with this beigey taupe mohair, and I use the yellow for the heel with the taupe mohair. Oops. And as you can see, it makes a little bit of a nice, I like it. Okay, we're at the beginning of the round, and we're going to, oops. These are my Addi needles. I like them a lot, not as much as my Chargu, but the thing is that they're not that sturdy, so they can bend. Okay, so I've got the first 2 stitches here. I'm going to knit the first stitch. So we always do this on the decrease round. Knit the first stitch, then I'm going to put my needle through as if to knit, pull that stitch off. The same on the next stitch, so put my needle through as if to knit, pull them off. So we slipped one, slip the second one. Then I'm going to go with my left needle between through both of them and knit them through the back loop. That's an SSK. Then I want to knit to 3 stitches left on this side, on half of my stitches. It is quite a difference going from Chargu to the Addi ones. They're not as sharp, but they're all right. Okay, so I have 3 stitches left. I'm going to go not in the first stitch but the second stitch, and I'm going to put my needle through both stitches and knit them together. So that's knit 2 together. That's another decrease. It's a right leaning decrease. The first we did is a left leaning decrease. Then I'm going to knit my last stitch. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other. See, my needle is already a bit twisted, a bit bent. So I'm going to knit the first stitch, then I'm going to slip the next one, slip the next one, put my needle through both of them and knit them through the back loop. Then I'm going to knit to 3 stitches left, have 3 stitches left. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to go in the first one, but go in the second one. Put my needle through the second one and the first one. A bit tight. Ready to do both of them. Wrap my yarn and pull it through. Knit it together. Knit the last stitch. Now for the next round, I'm just going to knit. So you decrease every other round. So next one is just a plain knit stitch all around. Then we're going to do decreases again, another row of plain knitting, decreases again until you're left with the number of stitches that the pattern tells you to. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how to do the Kitchener stitch to close the toe. Now we got to the last part, which is the fun one. Cut your yarn, leave a bit of a tail like that. Cut your yarn, and for this we will need a tapestry needle, preferably not such a giant one like the one I have here, but I don't want to go around and get the other one. Will do, it will do, no problem. So now you finished all the decreases for your toe, and they would look like this. As you can see, your row of columns are going in, these ones are going straight up, and we're ready to close the toe and do the Kitchener stitch. You want to align both of your needles like this. Then you want to thread your needle. Okay, and we're going to start with the front needle. I'm going to go in the first stitch as if to knit. Take it off. Then in the next stitch on the front needle as if to purl, we're going to leave it on there. Then we're going to move on to the back as if to purl. We're going to take it off. In the second one, the back needle as if to knit, we're going to take it off, and we want to repeat this. And usually I just go like this, so in, take it off as if to purl, and pull my yarn through. For the back needle, in as if to purl, take it off. The next one as if to knit, and pull my yarn through. In as if to knit, take it off, as if to purl, keep it on, and pull my yarn through. As if to purl, off, knit, pull my yarn through. So you kind of want to go knit, off, purl, purl, off, knit. Continue doing that, and as you can see, there's no seam there. It just looks like the stitch columns are going that way. Oops, that's not good. The stitch back on. So knit, off, purl, purl, off, knit, and that is it. You weave in your ends, and then wash and block your socks. Well, actually, you will have to knit another one. And that's what I need to do. I need to knit another one in this color and another one in the gray color that we started the heel for, which is fine. This is the only project I've got on my needles now. I finished my Fair Isle cowl. I finished children's skirt. I finished another tee. Anyway, I'm still working on writing the patterns, but yeah, these are the cloud socks, and I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Please check the description down below for the pattern, and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos to come. Remember, if you're a beginner knitter, you want to head over to Learn to Knit series and check that before you move on to this, because I'm knitting with small wool mohair, so you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just showing you, how we cast on, we do knit stitches, purl stitches, how we're going to do the German short rows, and the heel and the Kitchener stitch. Yeah, enjoy knitting. Bye.